and current presenter with RTE Sport. We talk about her life and how she got into presenting, her athletic career with Dublin and Bridget, and we also discuss her life with kids and how she juggles her job and family. Did that prompt you into going into your career that you chose?
No, I think it was the sport that prompted me, actually, was that I just loved sport so much, and I wanted to find a way that I could just stay involved with it somehow and getting to talk about it.
On the next episode of the TY Mic, we interview Mickey Quinn, a professional AFL player. Mickey goes into extraordinary detail about his career, as you can see from this next extract.
Got offered a 2-year contract to go to Melbourne and sign with Essendon Bombers.
What was it like being involved in the AFL?
It was brilliant.
I was doing okay, not standing out or anything, but obviously somebody saw a bit of potential. So I was brought in for a training session in Ferryhouse. They were training in Ferryhouse, and I was just in awe because these guys were my heroes. So I went into the dressing room, and I remember just seeing Darren Fay. He would have been an incredible fullback, and he was up on a bench getting a rub on his hamstring.
So, well, I only know through my parents. I didn't walk till I was 18 months, and then I skied at about 2 years.
Oh, really?
So I pretty much started skiing soon after I started walking because it was such a big part of our family's lives.
Yeah.
We spent every weekend up on our local mountain where we had a condo. We spent literally, there's elements of Mother Nature that impact your performance, but for skiing, like, Mother Nature is everything.
Yeah.
And it just takes the slightest little slip and you're not in control anymore, and you do have to let yourself lose control in order to...
class, and teachers would probably be able to testify this better than probably students, but maybe when you step back from the school in a couple of years after you're finished, you realize that, different classes have different dynamic, and quite a lot of the time, if you have a good dynamic and a good respectful kind of relationship between your school friends and your classmates, the guys that want to study and want to do well bring others on with them if that respectfulness is there in the class. And likewise on the sporting field, the guys that are really good, if they're encouraged by others, they'll go on. And I'm sure you're all proud of Castleknock College people that have gone on to play. That you've currently guys on the under-20s in Ireland, and really potential to be. You're all very proud of them, you know what I mean? And you should be about it. And there was an Air or Navy or Army, so I decided to apply for the Army and the Air. I'd never been in an aircraft in my life before I applied for the Air. I hadn't even been abroad in an aircraft. So I was very fortunate. I became an Air Corps pilot, an Air Corps cadet, and I went straight in after school. I had started engineering in college in Cork for about 6 weeks when I was awarded the cadetship. So I said, good luck to Cork, and off I went to the Curragh and did my cadetship. So I spent 21 months training as an officer there, and then I joined the Air Corps and started my flight training, and I haven't looked back since.
Come back to Charlestown, we were just, they were our heroes, and I was wearing all the Charlestown kit. So at 12, I was exposed to my role models in sport, not being, Eric Cantona or the Ronaldos at the time.
It was local heroes.
It was my local heroes. Yeah. And, one guy there, Ginger Turner, and he was midfield. He could catch every ball. Yeah. And, I think he was coming close to 30 at the time in 2000. I was there looking at him at 12 saying, if if I could play with him, it'd be amazing. He was my local hero. So that was really important as well. We'd a big in my first year playing minor, started midfield. We won a kind of title. We beat Kerry in the semi-final, and we lost the All-Ireland final, unfortunately. So that was my first exposure to All-Ireland finals at 17. But what happened to me in that campaign actually is, in the Connacht final, I shattered my tibia.
Yeah.
And they threw me in full forward. I had a broken bone, and crazy story because I went straight to the.
Do that, you know, you have to get the sleep deprivation and have to be hungry and all that kind of. So we have to sort of bring that in on quick time, like, you know.
Yeah.
And when we.
Torture. I was actually told when I accepted a job, most of the supporters, if you don't win 4-0 every week, you're gone. And that's no pressure, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. Never outside, didn't bother me. Dogs abuse I got. But I just got on with it. And they were bankrupt. They were going from, you know, week to week, day to day, torture. Put a great squad together. But in the end, dedicate yourself to that. When you're in that environment, when you're in school, 100% to your schoolwork.
Yeah.
Okay, you might have a little daydream about your next game. That's life. When you're on that training pitch, listen to your coaches.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Right? Have no doubts when you go home. Now I know what he wants. You might say, I can add to that. Go back to him. I know what you want. But you know what? I think if I could do that as well, he might go, well done. Educate yourself.
Yeah.
In the
Get a little bit starstruck. Like over in America last year for the World Championships, there was a bit of, oh, I know him, I know her, oh my god, it's that.
Yeah.
The biggest one was in the column before the final of the mixed relay. You're in there, you're in basically in the basement of the stadium, and you can hear everyone rocking above you.
Yeah.
And I was, for whatever reason, sat across from Alison Felix. Alison Felix has the record for most medals won at the World Championships in athletics.
Yeah.
She made her first one at 16 in 2003 when I was.
Chip on my shoulder because getting called up had come from a long way off in terms of kind of where I'd come. So I literally did every single age bracket that you could with Leinster schools, and then I did all the years you could do at the sub-academy, all the years of the academy, and then I got my development contract, and then I got my contract. So I'd literally done every rung of the ladder. There was my partner coming over, or a family member or a friend, the lads from home coming over and just kind of breaking it up, so I could really get my head down, work, and then know, kind of the same way as we do here, we know we've got midterm or something coming up that we can kind of rest or take it easy, so we work hard in between.
It was good to get the breaks in between.
Oh, completely necessary.
It's an interesting one, is DePaul, for me, because I worked for DePaul. So DePaul is it's in the Vincentian family as yourselves, but it was set up in the UK originally, and it was set up to support young people who are living on the streets in the UK, and when they came to Ireland back in around 2001 and a half, 2002, I ended up working for DePaul as one of the first managers in one of the hostels they had, and I left.
Every summer I'll have it's called Kelly Harrington Fun Day, and we'll set up a boxing ring, and from the different boxing clubs in the area we'll get coaches to come along, and they'll hold pads for kids who've never boxed before, and this is a chance for kids to get in, step into the ring, stick the gloves on.
Once you get picked, and once they know you, once you know that you have their confidence, they keep picking you. So it's kind of huge that way. But I think overall, Leo Cullen, the current Leinster coach, was huge as well, because when he was playing, I learned a lot of him, and I learned a lot of him as a player and a coach as well. So he was huge. So.
And would he be kind of coming to the end of his career when you were coming through, or was he be in his prime?
No, well, he was in his so he went off to Leicester for 2 years, and then he came back in, I think it was 2004. Back, so then I did the final year over like 3 years. So it took me about 8 years to get the degree, but I got it.
You got there eventually.
So sports management UCD is the answer.
And you mentioned you played with Norcal there since under 10s. Yeah. Did you start rugby as soon as you came to Castleknock then with the first year team?
Yeah. So.